sick
all
or
day today.
something? Jesus
Oh, he
Christ.
just doesn't eat. He just doesn't like food.
No, I have a cousin, same cousin who's about to be 15 and on the esports team. He used to be like a little bird when he was a kid. He just eat fucking fruit all the time. That's it. He just eat berries.
He's growing. He's in the perfect ranges of what he needs to be doing. He
Well,
just
that's good.
doesn't eat. Sorry, I don't want the heavens shining down on me necessarily. So
Oh, why? You're not the light of my life or anything? Come on, Eski. Like, what the fuck?
there we go. Eat what, Rach?
He eats. It's just only like 5 things.
Yeah.
Peanut butter jelly sandwiches, Cheerios,
Officially a parenting podcast.
fruit snacks, and any sort of sugar.
True.
Candy.
Any candy that's not chocolate because he doesn't like chocolate.
Wait. Hot news in here. Your son does not like chocolate.
No, he thinks it's yucky. Now, it may have something to do with the fact that we tried to give him amoxicillin submerged in chocolate syrup, and we had way too much chocolate syrup, and we had to force it down his throat.
Taste aversion. Yeah, no, that makes way more sense.
But he also didn't like chocolate before then, and he's lactose intolerant. So he's just a mess.
He knows it hurts.
Well, man, can't even have dairy. Can't even enjoy the chalky
Anyway,
milk.
This episode,
proudly sponsored by supporting your local beer franchise. What is that? Is that the leader cola of Budweiser? Is that they're selling now?
it's a 40. Have you never seen a?
I've never seen the Budweiser 40 before personally. No, can't say I have.
Have you heard of the game Edward 40 Hands?
Oh, of course, yeah. Have you heard the song
Okay.
Edward 40 Hands by the second greatest modern emo band of all time, Modern Jeans? You know, that's a good one.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It starts off
I
with
like
the intro. It has like a little twinkly guitar part, but the background is this argument between Linda and Bob from Bob's Burgers. And it's this episode where they like have a band as a family or whatever, and it's just going really poorly. And they're just like, "Can you try like tuning your instruments or playing quiet?" No, it's like we're a lean, mean mom jeans band machine, and then that's the name of the band. Well, that's cool. It's a deep cut.
There is a Budweiser and a Bud Light 40. They need a Bud Select. These fuckers don't have Bud
The
Select
Bud
out
Select
here.
40 would go hard. I know all of my transgender friends are deeply waiting for the Bud Select 40 ounce.
Okay, I understand now.
That's now.
That
Yeah,
felt
that's
like
where
a-
we're going. That's
that
where
felt
we're
like
going,
a-
baby.
Woo!
Yeah. Devin
then
Mulvaney, shout out.
Um,
I think it's
You know
so crazy that people are so upset about this fucking bullshit. Also, hello and welcome to another episode of 110 Podcast. Yay!
hey,
Hey, baby.
we made it.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
doing it
So,
live.
the red collar. I'm gonna call them now. The rednecks in blue collar world. You know, red collar.
Mhm,
Yeah, sure.
mhm.
The red coats, if you will. The British.
the red
British,
coats are coming.
The British are fucking coming
Hide your women.
for your beer. No, dude. I also just think it's funny that I think it's funny that anybody's mad about this.
Well, give some context to the people living under a rock because we assume that the listener.
No, they should get
Is
educated. Those
a
fucking
funny-
morons. Come on.
Okay, nothing is more of a turnoff to someone who doesn't know something than it's not my job to educate you. Look it up yourself. It's
Well,
like,
I'm not
okay,
trying to get
fuck you.
anybody hard or anything, bro. I'm not trying to make them erect. I'm not trying to turn them on, you know?
Okay, well, I'll say it. I'll
Sure,
say
why
it.
not? You're the
Budweiser
one. You're supporting the companies. No, I'm kidding.
has been a proud sponsor of Pride for the last 10 years or something.
Yeah.
And they released a rainbow can with the LGBTQ symbolism on it.
Yes, sir.
And a certain sect of a certain political party, which we will call the Conservatards, for her hence known from now on, has been losing their mind a
Hassan
little bit.
viewers, the right,
Yeah.
whichever one you want to call them.
The wasn't there a couple country bands that removed Budweiser from their tour?
Yeah, I did hear something about a couple different artists who removed their
They wanted it gone from their
affiliation.
drink
Yeah.
lists or whatever. They don't
Yeah.
want it served at their concerts or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it is that's their right to do that. I think it's fucking stupid. It's a fucking picture of a flag or a rainbow or whatever. So and for people that have championed calling people the snowflakes the whole time, it's definitely bro, you're melting over colors.
I don't
But,
know, dude. It's wild that people politicize their fucking. Okay, it's not weird that marketing companies that work for major brands or within their own brand as a marketing team will politicize their views in
And
ways that
Budweiser's
benefit
leaning
sales.
into this.
Oh,
That
fuck
they're
yeah.
leaning into this so much. But
But,
the real question is, are they doing this out of the goodness of their hearts? Or are they doing it because they've calculated that it will generate more money for them to upset the righties than to upset the lefties
I
or
mean,
whatever?
what I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's
No,
I don't no, I don't think it's purposely like, hey, let's malign part of our base so we can do something
so you
to
you think it is
effectively
more? You
raise
think it's
sales to
moral?
left. No, I don't think it's moral. I think it's
Oh,
something purely like I think the morality is actually stripped from it, and it's white flag, banship waving towards the fact that they support the LGBTQ community, which they probably do. I mean, they're not like anti it. They're not outwardly being
yeah.
blasphemous, but like I don't know, the donation, like are they making like donations to profitable causes? Are they
Yeah.
doing things that are ethical towards like those communities that are helpful to
Hey,
them? Or are they
audience,
just saying like
what?
we stand, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just saying we stand with you. And to me,
Yeah.
like sometimes that is just virtue signaling. And I feel like this is just a virtue signaling attempt that backfired with a lot of their customer base, but I think it's so funny that their customer base that is this upset, because there's people who drink it who are not upset. Obviously, that population does exist. They're a minority, possibly, but probably
Yeah.
not. They're probably like I've seen. This is my favorite. I saw some guy who made like a meme shit post about it, and then one of his friends, because he's in like country kind of like style jam bands,
Mm-hmm.
So good dude, father of four, like good guy,
Yeah.
but likes to shit roll conservatards, as you like to call them.
Okay. Good. Based.
So yeah, based.
We
But then he
support.
has his friends that he actually knows, and he will like. Here's the difference: you and I will like entertain conversating with them, but we won't like make meaningful friendships with these people. He's like, no, let's find the middle ground. Let's talk. Like talk about the issue. And I'm like, it's not
I
going to
mean,
work at a certain
there's-
point. There's like a level
there's
of
like a-
there's a level of like acceptance that I just don't have that he does, I guess,
Oh.
for other people's like
I-
bullshit.
I would definitely. So we diverge a little bit here. I would definitely be friends with someone that had like disagreements about this particular subject with me, but I would just like
Sure.
let them hear shit all the time. So like I it's not like I would just
Right.
peacefully accept or whatever. It's like anytime that this would come up, it's not like that's all our relationship is going to be, but like anytime it comes up, I'm going to rib them. I'm going to be like, hey, remember this thing that you're a fucking idiot about? Yeah,
And I'm
blah,
not
blah.
saying that, like okay, let me rephrase. It's like not people that you've known before, like people you like know through proximity. You know them not very
Yeah.
well. Met them once
Yeah.
or twice, and you're like willing to make an effort to make a better friendship with them
Mhm.
after barely even knowing them, and they start spewing a bunch of hate speech. And it's just
Yeah.
like there's a level of wherewithal I just don't have as a human to like engage after a certain point.
I want to move you on this a little bit. Jordan B. Peterson wrote a beautiful book called 12 Rules for Life.
Jordan Beaters and
And one of those rules was treat everyone like they know something that you don't. And that actually speaks to a philosophical lesson. Jesus talks about it, and some of I think Kant speaks of it too. I'm not super knowledgeable about all the finite stuff, but the big picture is like humanity exists by sharing information. That's why the printing press was such a big deal. That's why YouTube is such a big deal. That's why ChatGPT is such a big deal, because we are just thriving off of the ideas of other people who really what that is them thinking about something and then like sharing their mind process to someone else. And so if
Sure.
you cut yourself off from everyone, you're going to end up losing like something that is useful. That doesn't mean you have to like accept everyone and treat everyone equally. You can
I
definitely
think that's
discriminate
something
and
you
stuff.
would lose very quickly would be like the discourse for willingness to like think about your values.
Sure.
Think about like what kind of things you enjoy or don't like about, politicized opinions or just like what you enjoy out of life. Because if you don't have that, like if you don't have any kind of rub, yeah, like that's a bad thing. But there's like a certain level of willingness. Like there's
the
like
person that's
okay, like,
Sorry.
let's put it this way. Like how many people do you know that are white people that used to say the N-word who no longer do?
hey,
And-
right
right,
here,
right.
video evidence on my computer.
I mean,
I
like,
have like 6 videos saved
I
to
whoa,
release of my own demise.
all right,
No, I'm
weird.
just kidding.
Odd.
No,
odd
I
snuff tape,
recorded-
but all right, hot.
I recorded stuff making a documentary.
Yeah.
When I was like in a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
And then like I'm watching back this footage one day and I'm like, holy shit! I'm just like dropping hard R's to like half black kids that I'm like friends with, and like we're all laughing, and I'm like, what a fucking and
Yeah.
and I'm like kind of appalled whenever I hear stuff like that from
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah, it exists.
I like did the same shit.
Right.
I was like, oh my god.
So let me phrase it this way: do you know anyone when you have like a friend group? You know someone who is not hip with the change, and they get all weird about like not the free speech element, but just like they just want to say it. They just want to be edgy, a little edgy shitlord who wants to just say the slur just to irritate the other people in the group.
Yeah, so this would be where the audience is like, "Oh, Eski, you're a fucking hypocrite." I don't associate with those kinds of people, but not because like I choose like I'm better than them. It's just because the like value
I'm vetting your
already
line,
been extracted.
like genuinely. Like, this is the point of the question, right? Is to vet like, well, yeah, well, I'm making a point too of like clearly like you also have a bandwidth at a certain point, which you will. Yeah. That's the same thing I'm talking about. It's just mine's probably a different bar for entry.
Yeah. I'm not.
You must be this much taller to be riding this ride of talking to me.
Of my experience and my knowledge and stuff.
In my existence,
you must have this much tolerance. Yeah. No, I'm assuming that there's a difference between us, and I could be wrong. I've usually vetted like what value I think that person can provide for me, just based on like other conversations that I've experienced, like watched them have or seen them have. And that doesn't mean that there's nothing there, but the like amount of effort and like irritation just like, that I'd have to deal with.
I don't know. Like a value-based stratification on friendship sounds like honest but weird.
Well, these
to
are
me.
Like acquaintances anyway. I would never be besties with someone in that sense. I don't think. I think that there would be like fundamental viewpoints in the world that would just not exist. Yeah. But like I can be friendly and I can have conversations. And
now what if this is someone who's like debate. A childhood friend that you've known for like half your life?
You want to get real sad?
And now you're just like, I love this friend, but they're just being a fucking asshole, and I don't know what to do to help them.
I don't have childhood friends.
It's weird. I don't have like childhood. I have teenage age friends that like grew into my adulthood. That's it.
I have 3 people in my life that I talk to on like a consistent basis, and I met them all from the age of 17 onward. Like all of my kids from growing up, like a couple of people I was too weird for, or I was like an asshole because I was still learning how to like assimilate to the world and stuff. So
be a person.
I pushed a lot of So I was definitely the one that other people stopped associating with.
Yeah.
In the early stages, but like that's fine. I'm not gonna be for everyone.
I mean, I don't consider it like not associating. I just think that people's like interest as kids like shift so much that like I mean, how genuinely deep were these relationships in the first place when you were 5 and 6 and 7 playing with someone? You didn't know shit about them. You knew that like they liked some stuff, but
one thing that's like really interesting is that if you put people in a group and you give them enough time, like they will eventually find something, and there will be some sort of like relationships there. So like even if it's like your neighborhood kids and stuff, and you guys have totally different households and stuff, that's why like proximity to people creates like longer lasting friendships, or like there's always like a work group where like people who associate with peers of similar age groups like tend to always find connection with their coworkers and stuff. It's just,
absolutely.
I think
I mean, no, I have
someone, but that's not like a long lasting.
I have a listener who I would love to shout out by name, but I won't. He's my work wife. I would consider him. And that's shout out my boy Johnny, my Gabagoo, my Kazuso. But like we both like he started like I don't know like 6 weeks before me maybe. And like we both work in different departments. We both like have like we didn't really talk to each other much at first, but then over time like we just talked to each other more and more. And then like we were like the only people left from the time when we were hired. So then it's just like, you want to go to lunch, dude? It's like let's just go ahead. Let's go get some food. Let's just go. And we just talk about bullshit and whatever. And I love the dude to death because it's like a lifeline. But it's like I said, it's just these commonalities. Like we're roughly the same age. We're like within like I think actually shout out today, date of recording is his birthday, so let's go.
Oh, happy birthday.
What's up,
Johnny
Kazuzo. But for real, that makes him only what, like 8 months older than me? Yeah. And I know, sorry, 4 months older than me. That's how the math works. Wait, no, that's not right. Wait, is that right? Oh God, I'm gonna be 31 in like less than 4 months.
Jesus.
I've been
Wait,
30
you crossed the threshold though.
Yeah, I know. I've been 30 for so long. I know. I just feel old already, and now I just feel older.
Did you? You had to have. You watched the Bo Burnham,
Inside.
Yeah.
I was not as hip as most people are on that.
What?
Well, I liked it. It's like an 8 out of 10 though. It's not a fucking 10 out of 10 like a lot of people pretend.
What do you think of his content as a whole? Like what and like words like
I think that the original work he did back when he was on Comedy Central in 2009 was like my favorite thing, and I still own the CD to this day.
Okay.
And I also loved his YouTube content back in the day when he was like real small.
Okay.
He also had an
Okay.
MTV show, if you didn't know that.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was the versus the world or something. Somebody, I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
It's like
he had a
some
character
situation.
name.
He
Yeah,
was a character.
it was essentially playing himself
Yeah.
with like a cast family
Well,
around him.
I'm a huge Bo Burnham stan, so
I mean, I respect him. I just think that like, okay, let me rephrase. I think
don't say with your chest, little ass.
I think that like it's not like I don't dislike Bo. I obviously like him if I own his first fucking CD and still cherish it deeply. But like I think
there's a change.
I think Inside's good. I think it's a great piece of work. I think the issue is the people who hype it up intensely. And it's like the level of like people. All right, here's what I heard. This is the one thing that really this just fucking pissed me off. I was all for it being in theaters, and then I was gonna go to one and was buying tickets, and someone who went to one told me that people were singing along in the theater, and I absolutely was going to skip the Minecraft. I was going to skip the Minecraft, bud. I was going to go straight to the cold hard steel of a 45, my guy. I could not stand the thought without wanting to, I don't know, absolutely splatter my brains on the back of the movie theater wall that this would be like a musical where people try to participate. I don't know if you remember that kind of feeling in theater, but like anytime someone tried to sing off the crowd, I was so fucking mad.
And then, yeah.
I'm mad.
Oh.
Don't ruin the show. It's a show. It's a show. It's a weird exception to think about how concerts, though, when you go to like, see a performance or a band, if you know like the lyrics, like it's expected you sing along. But that also really feels, but it feels totally natural. Like it doesn't. I feel no objections about that idea. I hate more cell phones at concerts. That's another topic for another day.
I actually saw Snarky Puppy on Monday.
I know. How was that?
Theater. It was so fucking awesome. You've listened to Empire Central?
Oh yeah,
all the way through. So that album like went back to the roots of why I really like this band. Culture Vulture and Immigrants are like okay. There's like some really really neat stuff that they've created, but I'm a big fan of doing it live.
Yeah.
And them showcasing that it's like we aren't just a band that like plays cool music, but we're so tight that like we really don't need much mixing or mastering. It's like the performance is what you hear on the records is what you hear live. And like,
absolutely.
That experience is so cool. And so reverting back to, for those of you who don't know, Snarky Puppy was originally a band that it's like 10 or 12 people, and they tour all over the world and stuff, but their big rise to fame came from one of their albums called We Like It Here, where what they decided to do was record live sessions with a live audience, like intermingled with the band, and like record the reactions of like the audience alongside the actual music.
Yeah.
And that is such a neat thing that you don't see very often. And usually, not always, live is sometimes a worse experience than like what you hear on the album, unless they're like super talented. And I think Snarky Puppy is the opposite, where live is just as cool, if not cooler.
I think one of the worst things in live performance is when you have like a really good performing piece of like talent, but then the mixing of the venue throws off the performance.
What you mean, like your entire chest rumbling because they have every frequency?
So like one of the best concerts I've been to, but one of the worst mixed was at, I think it was the Truman in Kansas City, and it was the reunion tour of Alkaline Trio after they had been on hiatus for a long time. And they were playing like all of the Alchemy Index albums front to back, which were like 4 EPs they did that were named after the elements, Earth, Water, Wind, Fire. And then also Circa Survive. And I love Circa Survive. And this was, I think it was 2017. I want to say it was. But like the way that the Truman is designed and then just the level of like volume that was being output, there was like a lot of muddiness in the performance of both vocal and like bass tone was kind of an issue at certain points. And I've seen both of these bands before. Like
they sounded much better, so it was definitely the venue.
And it was also that was the last time I saw Circus Survive too. It was really good still, but there was just certain kind of like it's just the shape of the venue, the performance of the like the power of the music. Like, it was just I don't know. It was a good fit, but also not a good fit for the acoustics.
Well, so the old Rock Room in St. Louis is a great venue sometimes, but it has to be good. So like I saw Snarky Puppy there too. It's not the old Rock Room, the old Rock House.
Yeah.
Old Rock House.
Yeah.
Because they've got an inside in and outside. The
Mhm.
outside stage, I was like standing like a third of the way back, center stage, like I could still see and stuff. And I didn't bring earplugs.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stay for the encore because my fucking head was like, it was so bad. And it's because Sean Martin, their keyboard player, is always wailing on the whatever high note that he's always doing, and you know, he's like doing the vibrato effect of it.
Yeah.
But it was too much. I brought earplugs and it was inside a concert hall and stuff, and I ended up taking them out halfway because it seems like they really toned back their output for what they were doing. And like it wasn't a bad concert, the one in St. Louis, the second time that I'd seen him, but it's like I saw him in the ready room
stage,
before
right?
The outdoor stage was just like they nailed us, and I was bummed that I didn't bring headphones because I'm sure I would have been fine if I had some plugs in. But
yeah, it happens. I always think to bring earplugs, but I hardly ever use them. And I never, even if I do bring them, I often don't use them, and that's all right.
Tinnitus for the win.
I mean, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
No, I am not fine. I have the hearing of like a 45-year-old right now. It's actually pretty fucking awful. And it's because I didn't wear plugs when I like drummed and stuff, and we were in really boomy gyms, and that percussive like abuse for 8 hours a day every weekend for 10 years is it'll do some time on your shit.
Yeah, I think about like how much damage I definitely did to my eardrums when I was like ages 16 to 20 being in bands, and like how much I'm gonna regret it as I get older and need
if you're not
ears.
noticing it now, you've got a little bit of time.
Oh no, I noticed it a little bit.
Yeah,
I know my hearing's not great always.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Who?
Huh?
What'd you say to me, boy?
Wait, so I'm actually curious. I want to stick on Snarky Puppy for a second.
Yes,
Have you been to the Ready Room? Have you ever been to that venue?
Yeah,
it's
of course.
In,
of course. Yeah.
That is such like Snarky Puppy is absolutely the best band to see.
Wait, isn't the Ready Room closed now?
They closed it. Yeah, I
it's
think
called
during
Red Flag
COVID.
now or something like that.
I don't know.
No,
that venue is so fucking intimate.
No.
The stage is like at your waist or maybe a little bit higher.
Yeah,
and like everyone's packed super tight. Like that really brings credence to like the environment for the sounds that you're hearing can totally change the like 21 Pilots. I'm trying to think like what would going to a concert today be like versus seeing them like 2012 2011 or something. And it's not just like you have really passionate people there for them. It's like the acoustics and like the vibe of having all that, a smaller group of people, but like really intensely there. I don't know. I'm sure it'd be cool still having, 30,000 people, a sold out stadium or whatever. But
absolutely. I don't even disagree a little with that. I want to talk about something that we talked about recently though. Mm-hmm. This has been on my mind since I found out how this happened. Mm-hmm. So in a new segment we're referring to as Dalai Lama drama. After we just talked about the Pancha Lama and the Dalai Lama, the existence of that relationship and how all that is, we had an incredible controversy. But this is mostly being spread. I don't know if you know this. This is a month-old video. This video is not recent. Apparently, this is being circulated by some righties right now. Apparently, that's what I've heard. It's conservative media who's the one trying to bring this up. This is not in lieu of the recent news we were talking about.
Yeah, it's totally separate.
On the last segment of Dalai Lama drama, for the record. Yeah. I want to clarify, this is not a reaction to that idea. This is literally completely separate and coincidental that we started talking about my interest in the Dalai Lama, and then it's like, the Dalai Lama is kind of fucking gross. And so he apologized after a video circulated online of a Tibetan spiritual leader, this man, the Dalai Lama, kissing a young boy on the mouth and then asking him to suck his tongue. It's pretty rough video. I've seen a version of it with the boy's face blurred out, and I don't want to watch it on the pod. It's horrible.
We don't need to see that shit.
It's then the apology was basically him saying like he likes to play jokes. Like, he just pulled the "Hey, I'm a silly little guy" defense.
I just like to play jokes on people by fucking molesting underage boys' tongues.
I could not wrap my head around this. I watched The Yard today. The Yard talked about it, of course, and I was like, oh yeah, kind of like a crazy thing. They showed part of the video to like show, because some people hadn't seen it and they were like trying to argue how bad it was or what the whole like issue is here. But this is a Reddit comment that I screenshotted, and I just kind of like, yeah, this kind of sums up like a good point. So I guess the Dalai Lama is a piece of shit pedophile. What a time to be alive. Next person, y'all's crazy. Dude got chose basically from birth and raised as a reincarnation of some pseudo deity and indoctrinated 24/7 in a cult of celibate dudes devoted to him. Of course he's crazy. And the next comment from the same guy, well, when you put it that way, it seems obvious.
Yeah, I mean, any person that's like raised in an environment where they are the end line or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you can't have like a normal average experience. And also something that's kind of fucked up, but true, is that like instances of like child abuse and stuff aren't super uncommon. It's something that has plagued humanity throughout all of history, and it's really fucking gross.
What's gross is it didn't get the name abuse until like 30 years ago.
Yeah. So there's
child
a couple directions we could go with this.
Something you could talk about, like as a concept, and then it's like
or like child marriage in like the United States, which I think 3 states still have legal. Under the age of 13, you can marry them. It's just like basically okay.
I don't care about how many hoops and bells and whistles and reasons why. It's so fucking crazy that it's a lot at all.
Well, so let's take this in a productive direction, and let's talk about our. I can't do it. There's a really interesting conversation that can be had about pedophiles and what needs to be done with them, because the jerk reaction from everyone is, if someone has that tendency, we need to just put a bullet in their head. And I think that's a little bit inhumane if they haven't done anything.
I think
if they're just that way and they have like an urge. I don't know if like euthanasia, and this is too touchy. We can drop it.
It's really hard to talk about actually without like contextualizing.
Okay. Let's
like a very like. I mean, it's not that I want to drop it. I would love to tell you personally. It's that I don't think that the pod is the place for me to express my true disposition on this. But I will say that before my disposition is where it is currently on this idea, or any kind of discourse I could have on the conversation, because I have a very different opinion than just we should just put a gun to their head and do that. I used to have that opinion because I do believe the act of committing a pedophilic act is the essentially worst thing you can do.
It's
to
absolutely. 100%.
I think it's worse than killing somebody. Actually, I think
because you're like imparting trauma on them for the rest of their life.
It's the death of innocence.
Yeah,
and that's almost worse than bodily death and death of innocence, if you ask me, because then there's a continued cycle of pain. And I would love for after the pod, you and I to talk about.
Sure.
This in much more better detail, but I will say I do have a much more convoluted opinion than that. I will agree with that notion. I do have a more convoluted opinion. I have a very specific reason. If I don't want to be the one to air it out on the pod. There is someone who could and who has been on the pod who, if they were willing to talk about it, I would be more than willing for them to say that.
I'm not trying to dance on.
No, we're good.
I'm not trying to dance on stuff for content.
I'm not at all. I'm not juicing it. I'm just being very honest, and that's the platform of the pod. And I think it's important that it be in the episode, and we say these things.
Cis white male unaffected by idea that is potentially like traumatizing for other people. Who would have thunk, right?
Whatever, bro. We're not qualified. No, I mean, I don't think
No. I'm saying that like it's of course I'm able to just discuss it objectively. I have no like attachment to it. So it's just an idea that I can play with. That's like super disrespectful to like any person that's come through it. So this is a good reminder for me a little bit to like be a little more sensitive about some of the subjects that I bring up. I love you.
Yeah, we love Father, we love.
I love you, baby. Go night-night, okay? Go take a bath, all right? I love you.
Goodbye, handsome lad.
I still put.
What a sweet little man.
So then, let's. So we were the Dalai Lama, crazy person. What other cults have we seen?
Well, here's actually the real question I wanted to pose to you after our conversation last week and all this stuff with the controversy of the Panchen Lama like being mostly controlled by like the CCP, but then basically it's up to the Tibetan people to really choose another like spiritual leader if they want to do that whole thing. And I guess the real question is like, do they even have another Dalai Lama, or do they just have like spiritual gurus and they like drop the cycle? Because
This
also
might
the
be
other
like
thing too, like, do you think like, I don't know, like this old man also is like, yeah, my spirit's gonna be reincarnated, so I'm like a little youthful spirit too. So this kid and I are just playing like kids do.
bro, she's not a 12-year-old. She's a 500-year-old dragon in a 12-year-old's body. Don't you understand?
Yeah,
That's essentially what he's saying, right?
yeah. So I guess the
I'm-
question is do we defend lollies, and is the Panchen Lama a
yeah,
lolly?
true. Is lolly based or cringe? Let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah, W's or
No.
L's down below.
No, I think
Because that's what
think
we're
that
tailoring to nowadays.
yeah, true. That's the
Based.
audience we really want to get a hold of.
It
No,
would
I
be
think-
crazy to get a hold of the W and L community among all things for a podcast. Do you think the W and L communities listen to a podcast other than Fresh and Fit?
Potentially, but they're probably looking
Or do they even
for-
listen to Fresh and Fit?
No, what I think they're looking for is like they are searching out anything having to do with their virtual daddies. And so if it's people deriding their virtual daddies, then they want to like talk shit in their comment section. And then if it's people praising them, yeah. So hey, come at us, boys. But then I think if it's like positive stuff, they'll like leave positive stuff. Cause so I kind of do this with Destiny. I don't search his like name and look for stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm in a subreddit where people are coming through the internet or coming across their own little circles and sharing like, hey, this person said some dumb shit. Look at this fucking retard. And like other times it's like, wow, this person actually has like a really, oh wait, I'm sorry. Is the hard R also?
That's a little offensive.
I'm quoting someone else. You're
You're gonna slur little people next? Like, what's going on, bro? No, I know, I got what you were saying, and that's why I made the face I did, because I was like, that. If I thought you were saying that in the sense of you actually saying that opinion, I probably would have been like, whoa, I knew you were quoting somebody.
Yeah,
that's insane. But also, it's the internet comment section, so yeah.
And that's, people talk like they're not talking to other humans with, respect and all that consideration. But
the concept of dehumanizing people in like and just like speech is very interesting. I feel like it's incredibly natural to dehumanize people as you speak about things.
It's very easy to paint someone as the other, or not a person worth consideration or with like an experience. You can very quickly just like compartmentalize them as like an enemy or something. That's why dehumanizing language is awful. It's actually like really bad. And it's one of the reasons why, here's my inner liberal coming out. I actually don't like the way that a lot of far left sides of the internet talk about conservatives, because it's basically like these people are just the enemy and there's no hope for them. And so all that we can do is like fight back against them until they start trying to kill us. And then we get to kill them.
Yeah,
which is just like
I think it's
basically
like,
shoveling the valley towards
I mean, obviously middling take Fleeb here, but like the middle ground for both sides is probably the more centric ideas are probably a little bit better of areas to land in than the extremes, because in the extremes you're not really willing to either A, accept other extremes, or B, accept other viewpoints typically.
Or improve your own thing. Right? If you're not interested in, and that's why like we're seeing such crazy ends right now, is because we're segmenting the conversations that are happening. Twitch is like on a complete and utter like anti-conservative bend, and they're like doubling and tripling and quadrupling down. So, and thankfully a lot of the political like realm has kind of shot itself in the ankle and hasn't really gone anywhere. But for the most part, like interesting conversations that were happening, anyone that was potentially providing to that from the non-left perspective was removed.
You're talking about like Aiden Ross and Andrew W.
Well, no, Aiden Ross. Listen, Aiden Ross thinks there's only two genders because that's as high as he can count. It's not because he has some philosophical position about like the way that the world works or something. Like I'm talking more like,
you see next clip of him reading the fascists thing, the different
fascistic. It is a governmental and infrastructure. Yeah, he's just, and he might be playing it up too. It's good content when oh look how much of an idiot I am, guys.
Did you say he might be playing it up too?
I think it might be like 8% a character. I think
Nope.
92. I think he really doesn't know most words, but I think he might lean into it.
This
a
is
little
me
bit.
dehumanizing another person. I think
I've-
he's too stupid to do that.
Listen, it's possible. Listen, I just said he only
I'm
has
going to
2
invalidate
brain
his
cells.
experience, Eski,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say, shmeesh mop, nope.
Uh-oh. Just got
Oh, it's magic.
what the fuck is this?
What'd you get?
Nothing.
What'd you get? What's the
I,
hot
I
drop?
have an
What's the
antivirus
goss?
thing. I have an antivirus.
No. Oh no!
I just got a potential threat.
This is an interesting bit of the podcast. Is how is your antivirus doing? Mine is good, but I have a Windows update.
You got a Windows update too. Oh god, opening a Chrome update, man. That's the worst. That's the worst thing in the world.
God, how many Chrome updates have you ever had to actually do yourself? I had to do one ever. It was like last year. All the other ones just auto do themselves typically, but this one time I had to actually like do my own Chrome updates. Like Chrome has updated. You had to push a whole button on the right side. It was weird. And I was like, am I getting scammed?
Yeah. It's just some weird exe file. I don't know where that came from. So it might be from a download or something.
Let's talk about another weird exe file, Fortnite.
Yeah.
It has my attention again. Also, your camera seems to have frozen, my brother in Christ.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you for sure.
Let me pause.
There you go. You coming
come
back? He came back, boys.
Can you see
I'd
my
like to talk
eyebrows
about. I can
wiggle
I can.
waggling?
Oh, wiggle wiggle.
Okay.
Yeah, your money don't jiggle jiggle. It folds.
It
Which is
folds.
actually that is a dance I have.
Yeah,
in Fortnite. Yeah.
Fortnite paid like a huge lawsuit and potential V-Bucks refunds. I think this year was when it was supposed to happen
Yeah.
for.
Who gives a fuck about that? I applied for it, didn't get my money back. Let's talk about the real thing. The Fortnite like cycle is what I like to call it. I made a tweet about this once. It's a banger. Beloved anime character and gimmick gets added to game of Fortnite. I update the game. I play the game for like 2 weeks. No build only. I have fun. The game gets very gimmicky, and I'm like, all right, it's time to go. Or the event ends.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer play Fortnite until the next anime crossover.
Okay.
This is the way.
Yeah.
It's
I
held
haven't
true
played-
because right now they have added the Attack on Titan ODM gear to the game, and it is fucking insane. I have not got to play it
No.
yet. I've seen it. I want to play it.
Now explain this to me because I'm not a
Yes.
Fortniter. I've won one game of Fortnite in my life, and that was
Number
last
one
Christmas.
Victory Royale coming on
Last
down
Christmas.
Fortnite now.
Playing on the Switch without a Pro controller on the actual Switch
Yeah.
Joy-Cons.
Yeah. You know
was
that
rough.
was it the first game on that account, or was it like?
No, I spent like 4 days because I was on
Okay.
vacation visiting family, and
Okay.
I would play for like an hour or two every night. So
Okay.
it was like 5 hours of
Okay.
like attempts.
So your first
I
game
was
you
like,
won?
First ever. Yeah.
No, the very first game, right?
That was
Or-
the very first Fortnite match I've ever won. And I've
No,
played
no.
Fortnite.
Was the first game that you played the first one that you also won, or was it later in the cycle?
It was much later in the cycle. It was
Okay,
towards the end.
okay. Gotcha. Okay, because I was gonna say usually if it's a fresh account, the first game has a lot of bots. It does have some people,
Oh.
so you might have
No.
gotten. You might have gotten.
I put a lot of hours in.
Yo,
I got
dude.
like top 5, top 10 almost every match that I played, but I finally squeezed somebody out by cheesing behind a house and stuff. But anyway,
Nice.
how does the anime character affect like normal multiplayer? Do you have to join the anime centric multiplayer, or is it just every multiplayer match that you join in?
Much like everything else in the game, it's an item you pick up.
Right.
So
So when a new meta jumps in with some anime character.
So, for example, Dragon Ball Z had the Kamehameha and the Nimbus
Yeah.
Cloud. So you had the Nimbus Cloud, which you every like 15 seconds you could jump up and just do like another jump and fly down and land somewhere.
Mhm.
And then Kamehameha, you jumped up in the air, announced it loudly that you were doing it, and then shot a laser beam
Mhm.
just from your hands. You know?
Yeah, I remember seeing it like, and people would stomp on kids, and it was how everyone won their
Yeah.
matches for that.
Yeah, or just like in the
month or
Star
whatever.
Wars crossovers, there's the lightsaber, or like the certain blaster rifles and shit. So
Mhm.
it's just an item. It's regular multiplayer. The only benefit I would say is that did you play build or no build?
I would play builds.
Oh, you're
There was-
crazy.
there was
you're crazy,
still
bro.
build.
Play no build. Play no build is so much better.
So you can't even do mats? Can you still destroy like buildings and stuff?
You can destroy buildings, but you don't need the mats. You can't build anything. You just shoot. You just play the fucking game.
But-
natural terrain and
But I can make staircases really fast.
not really.
I know. I'm just
You
especially on my
you're
Switch.
probably slower than me at making staircases, and I'm bad at making shit.
Damn, fucking shots fired.
Bro,
About my
I
building
no
skills.
no. You see, this is a mouse, and it has
Yeah.
2 buttons on it, and that's my ramp
Listen,
and my flat.
They don't call me the Squirt Master 3000 for nothing. Okay, I got
Alright.
those combinations.
It sounds like we need to play some Fortnite.
Maybe we can try it out sometime.
We probably just should. It sounds probably fun.
I I don't game anymore. It's
You're
so
not a
pathetic.
gamer?
No, dude, I'm too busy making memes. I'm too busy editing.
Okay,
I
to be
can't- I
fair,
can't
the
play the
hobby of
games.
making memes and editing videos is a good hobby to have in place. Because you have had some successful videos. I've seen the view counts.
Thank you.
I showed my coworkers those videos, and one of them was like the one who mentioned, by the way, that you like he enjoys you being on the pod. So he's like, "Wait, what video was that he showed you guys? That was crazy." I'm like, "You want to see the second one?" He's like, "This has like 11,000 views," and I was like, "Yeah, it does."
Yeah.
That's
We-
crazy. You
we
also had
tapped
it on
in.
I mean, you got it on Destiny's stream. I saw the clip.
He watched both of them, and he gave me an okay out of 10 for both of them.
Yeah, I
I was
saw.
pretty amped.
Some people in the comments were actually giving Destiny a lot of shit about how he doesn't give you enough credit.
Oh,
I
that's
saw-
sweet. I
That
didn't
was like
even see
that was like some of the comments I saw was specifically things that like Destiny like just saying it was okay is like really like silly for how well done it was or whatever. It wasn't like
that's sweet. But
Yeah.
there are valid critiques of my
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely.
My audio,
I know,
my
I
audio
saw.
samples were too quiet,
Yeah.
and my the faces weren't perfect, but they were much better the second time than the first. The first time had, I think, a couple better lines. The Balenciaga. Do you know
Yes.
where that came from?
Yes, I looked at the original
Okay.
clip afterward.
That that was a stroke of genius, and I don't know if I thought of that before or after it was mentioned in the Reddit thread.
That was also one of the comments I saw too after that video. It was like, I loved that part. I lost my shit.
Yeah. That. Sorry, I don't want to just jerk off my own prowess and stuff.
No, I mean you should be proud of
But-
what you've been doing recently. Your content's been good.
I think I'm understanding. I'm like tapping into the matrix, and we're gonna have a daily segment every podcast where Eski talks about why he thinks that he's actually in a simulation. It seems odd to me that I have positioned myself to be obsessed with a specific community that responds this well to videos, such that I can learn how to edit stuff and how to share it with people and like get constructive feedback and stuff, and then also get positively reinforced for it. So I just need to I need to basically attach myself to the community and become a YouTube channel about that, and then there goes my next 2 years of content creation. But that feels weird, so I'm not making a third Destiny video, and instead I'm sneak peek alert, I am making Hip Hop by Gucci. That is going to be the next AI generated thing. I just need to find the backtrack for it, and then it's going to be Kendrick Lamar and Snoop Dogg and Eminem and like all the hip hop artists throughout the years. Like,
I have horrible ideas for content, but I will share
Good.
mine. Here's
Go
my
ahead.
content deep cut. So I'm a
Mhm.
big Yard fan. Someone called me a Yardigan. Listen every week. Listen to the bonus right after the new one. I love Ludwig. I always have, but like I've always been really I don't as clippable. I feel like clippable and shippable. Put the drama out there. I've always been really interested in his roommates. Like when they were a
Mhm.
part of just being his roommates, and I was always really interested. Like when I think it was the time when Nick gave Ludwig a star tattoo on his forehead in like 2020. If I distinctly remember correctly, that was the clip I saw, and I was like, "Who's that guy? He looks really cool." And that's kind of how Nick has been described to be the effortlessly cool one. But easily my favorite has been Slime, because Slime is Slime on the Scene, Slime from old BTS Smash
Mhm.
content days. So I liked him too. Found out Ludwig also had been someone I had seen a long time ago from his one of his most viewed videos like for a while was Salty Ice Climber Moments, like 2 or 3 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had seen that just from being into Smash and like watching
Yeah.
that. And then I also remember seeing the time where he got Zayn a pair of like a certain kind of shoes and sponsored him and got it was like it's like what's the brand that has like a little bee as a symbol? I can't remember. The bee shoes.
It's a fashion brand?
Oh
It's a
yeah,
bee shoe?
it's a very famous like fashion brand. I had to look it up.
Balenciaga?
Balenciagas. Let's see.
Oh, it's a B, like a not a letter B.
Yeah, it's
but
like it's a bee. Shoot.
I'm gonna find it first. Haha. No, thank you.
It's Gucci.
Is it Gucci?
Yeah, yeah, they're Gucci's.
He got him some Gucci stuff.
Yeah, some Gucci sneakers with like the fucking bee on them. Anyways,
Okay.
I remember
Okay.
he got him. It was a hoodie and a pair of Gucci shoes that he let him wear or whatever, and that was like the first real introduction. But yeah, I just remember being really interested in that. So my two big ideas recently have been to do a super cut of every time Slime says "What happened?" or when he says "All right, man." Like it just that's it. That's been my two content ideas recently. I feel like that's shit. But that's also
No.
something I never see. And I'm like, why has no one compiled every time he said them?
So don't compile them into a video from start to finish. Make a like 30 or 40 video like supercut of every time
Post
he
them to
says it.
shorts.
And then line up the videos so that you have like the beginning and the end for when he says the same phrase. So then it's like what happened? And then it's again. Do you know what I'm talking? There's a Joe Rogan thing called "It's Entirely Possible." Do you have any idea what I'm referencing right now?
No, I don't.
Okay, we're gonna watch this with the.
Oh God.
We're gonna watch this.
No, we can't
No,
endorse Joan. We can't.
We have to.
It's against Jamie's contract. You don't understand.
Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging
SAG
you to
will
just,
have us.
It's 40 seconds. 40 seconds. It's a 40 minute video.
Oh
This
my
one seems more
God.
insane than what I remember. Or you can just view it on your computer.
Oh no! I do know what you're talking about. You're talking about the synchronized videos.
It's synchronizing it. So if you were to synchronize Slime saying what happened, and you can like figure out a way to edit that.
I'm not gonna do that because here's the thing. I feel like there's too much variance in the way he says it, and there's too many like odd one-offs of like these like silly little things he adds to it or does to it. And he's a silly little fella, so
Okay.
I feel like you need every example, and you need to have each one as a little crumb, a little taste of the wine.
Little Geffen,
you know,
Geffen to like crumb.
Yeah, my nut crumbs, dude. Yeah, that's the one.
Here's what you could also do is you could take an entire episode and you could just have like all the inhales.
I've seen that. I've seen those before. Those are good.
Those take a little bit of effort, but I tell you what, no matter what it is, they're fucking hilarious.
I feel like what do you think to take more effort, making an all inhales of episode, or making a supercut of every episode for like 90 episodes?
Dude, it has to be. The more effort is the 90 episodes.
I think so. The supercut,
because cutting
But
down
it feels
one
like
episode.
It feels like the coup de grace. It feels like the piece de résistance, like the je ne sais quoi.
You know,
something else you can't
what
say,
you're capable of. What I'll tell you is that
I don't think I'm capable of it at all.
existence-
I think it's a fun idea, but I think I'm
Oh.
not capable of it at all. That's why I haven't.
What
done
I'm
it.
telling you is that I have realized that I have really good ideas that will not be worth the effort. And so I think that cutting 90 videos into one is definitely like super
Sometimes
impressive.
I feel like I have no good ideas, and sometimes I feel like I have a good idea with no effort, and sometimes it's like a total thing of like I have no effort plus I have no good ideas. It's like all right, time to depression mode, man.
No, you're good, bro. You've got the consistency, and that's the thing that matters. Most of these people, listen, this is the clip that we're going to take from this episode, and it's going to talk about how to become a famous podcaster. The first thing that you have to do
Spend $1,000 on
is you
equipment.
have to continuously upload something. And it doesn't matter what it is.
I think it's a
have
rule of
to-
thumb for content creation, really. If you're trying
Yeah.
to be one, you have to just be
Because
consistent to some level.
there's so much benefit to having like a breadth of content.
Mhm.
And having like a one-hit wonder that just like pops up and then fades away, it doesn't feel good as the creator. It also doesn't feel good as the audience because like they have no other reference for you. And if the next thing that you do is like, you know, a totally different direction, like they have no way to know to engage with that again. But there's like a relationship that could be developed with you if you are like making the same thing ish and changing and getting better over time, blah blah blah. So
I agree.
keep pushing and keep experimenting. Eventually something will click if given enough effort and enough brains behind it.
Yeah.
Which sometimes you need a second set of eyes to give you the brains. Sometimes you've got your own brains. Sometimes you have the brains and other people need to make the stuff for you.
Sometimes you got spaghetti for brains.
True.
Got red sauce on
My
the mind. You know what I'm
Smooth
saying?
brain right now. Anyway, that's not a bad idea. I like the.
I just remembered something that I would love to share with you.
Okay.
Let me. Pull
These
this
are
up.
off stream conversations. No, this is in stream.
This is a stream. We're live.
Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying.
Eat my balls.
Oh, I almost did it.
Eh.
Oh.
What you gonna do, pussy boy? Say it. Come on.
Speaking of noodles, while you're looking that up, there's a TikTok. Did you get a chance to watch it? About the Dominoes.
Okay, hang on. I gotta find this article.
If you are watching this podcast right now, you're listening on another device, make sure that you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every week, Friday at 11 p.m. Central Time when the episode goes live so that you don't miss out.
Here we go. So it's
the
it's a 2016 First We Feast article.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely based. Shout out to fucking what's it called? Hot Ones. All right, so the article's called "Red Sauce Slang 101: The Secret Language of Classic Italian Restaurants." So, shout out once again to my boy Jenny, who we found this at work one time.
Mamma mia!
And I did call him this a Cazuso earlier, right? So a Cazuso is a worker who is dirty and doesn't keep his station or table clean. One with no elegance, if you will, no elegance. All right. So we talk about this all the time, and every so often I like to just reuse these and just talk about them and how fun it is to just use them. So let's see. I like this one. Ciofeca, a shitty coffee or espresso. Hey, Emma, what are you doing? Give me the ciofeca, if you will. You know, it's like a spelling bee.
I love this line. A lot of it is when people came over here from Italy, they couldn't say a certain word, so they'd make it up.
Yeah, dude.
Probably explains why you could not find many of these so-called Italian words in any proper dictionary. So this is just like explaining why they say wacky stuff when Italians talk about things, but they're actually not something that exists. That's goofy, dude.
I mean, I don't think it doesn't exist. I think it thinks it exists. They just don't know how to say things or know
goofy
what to even...
Italians.
Just keep scrolling down to actual terms if you haven't read some of them.
My sister's ass.
Yeah, that's a
sloppy.
Great one.
Something you never want. I get a dish from a line cook, look at it, and say my sister's ass, and the cook must go redo it before it goes to the dining room. That looks like my sister's ass.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Let's see. Impalato, a guy that is lazy and doesn't do his work because his head is in the clouds.
Unfesso, a cook that can't figure something out because he's not bright, can also be used when someone makes a foolish mistake. You're an unfesso. Look at you, you fucking unfesso.
Schifeza, the worst of the worst. Terrible food. As in this pizza, schifeza.
Zappatore, someone without passion in the kitchen.
Dude,
That's
that one's
Zappato is
that
like
one's
tennis shoe.
That one's actually something that me and John have decided is pretty offensive and like a slur against Italian people. Yeah,
listen,
so don't you say that one.
Jew. What does he say in oh my god, it's the freaking 3-hour Scorsese film on Netflix, and I'm blanking on it.
The Irishman.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen that movie.
Oh, there's a scene where he talks to a person and he calls him, and I quote, a Jew wop fuck.
What the fuck?
No, I'm sorry. Wait, I think he calls him
first off
a Mick.
Why is this Jew's pussy wet?
No, WOP, you dummy.
I'm sorry, I don't know what that is.
Wait, you know what that is, right?
The only thing I know is WAP, like as in wet ass pussy. I'm sorry, my guy.
Oh no. WAP is a like super bad slur, usually insinuating.
Oh, thank you for saying it 3 times then.
Well, it's okay. Sorry, it's not like a offensive to like people on the street. If you're calling somebody it, it's very much like a huge amount of disrespect that you're throwing their way. And I don't know the origins. I can't remember. The Google search that I did 4 months ago hasn't clicked. But that, like, if you call somebody the W word and they're Italian, like, you're spitting on their mother's vagina. I don't know.
I know another Italian, so I know Dago is one that's pretty offensive.
Yeah. Okay, since we're here.
No, we're not going to talk about slurs.
WOP is what it is.
I'm good. I'm not going to type this in and Google it.
What's used as an insulting or contemptuous term for a person of Italian birth or descent. So it's, some people say it stood for working on pavement. based on the stereotype that
Ah.
Italian immigrants were manual laborers, but that's also like is equal an answer as, oh, fuck just means for unlawful carnal knowledge or whatever the but like
Fornicate
it was
under the consent of the king.
yeah, which it was like used in Shakespearean time or whatever. So everyone just likes to make up fancy acronyms and be the next. This is what this word actually
Why does everything
means.
have to be an acronym, bro?
I don't.
That's what I want to
IDK.
know. My BFF Rose.
IDK.
Remember
My
that
BFF
commercial?
Jill.
Remember that? Yeah, you remember that one?
IDK, my BFF Jill. Fucking
And
classic.
The
Dude.
dad's busy, and then it's IDK, my BFF Rose, the grandma. Boom.
I want to talk
Classic.
about one thing real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Speaking of companies and ways that they can market themselves and change the perception of them and potentially other companies in the world. There is a TikTok that went semi-viral. It had like 800,000 likes or whatever, which usually a million likes is like, okay, this is a pretty big deal. But, you know, if it's like a couple months old and it's a million likes, it's like not great. If it's like 2 days old and a million, it's like, okay, this is a fucking crazy one. But it was supposedly, I'm going to try to be unbiased when describing this, a person who works in a Domino's distribution center
Okay.
for their products. And they kept filming inside of these blue trays and like a couple different angles of the blue trays. And it showed like gross stuff, looked like either maggots and like
Ew.
moldy stuff and whatever.
Cheese, Gromit. Cheese.
They had like, I love crackers and cheese. Oh my God. Fucking, that's the werewolf one, right?
That's
Wallace and
one of
Gromit?
them. That's one of them. That's one of many Wallace and Gromit stories, sir.
I can't wait now.
I'll
I'll be back
Wallace
in an
and
hour.
Gromit.
Dude, that's such a good. Okay. sorry,
Cheese.
you're fucking distracting me here. They supposedly are a disgruntled worker that works in this that was fired for pointing out the health and safety standards in this Domino's distribution center.
Gross.
And their entire TikTok channel is like sharing cuts of like these 3 or 4 videos of the same section of this Domino's distribution center and like talking about how evil it is. So my question to you is, do you think that it's possible we've reached a point in time where other companies are committing like corporate espionage by posing as workers, pointing out flaws in their enemies' companies, and just like flat out lying?
That's the
like-
that's the theory that's like going around on this. Is that this is
This is Eski thinking, wait a second, 800,000 people really believe this shit when you look at the video and it's like the same like 3 videos like reposted
yeah,
with
yeah,
like different contexts like 100 times. Come on. You're telling me this person worked there and pointed this out and he can't provide anything new? And over the last 4 months, all that he has is like the same camera angle of the same tray or whatever. Like, it could be that he's just dumb, but it could also be that it's like,
I mean, if he's
Papa
gotten
John's.
fired, how would he provide more footage?
because if you supposedly were like documenting and reporting stuff before you got fired, I think you'd have more than 3 videos.
Is he presenting as someone who like has all this evidence, or is
It's
it...
not a person even talking to the camera. It's just like raw video footage with like text over it and descriptions explaining what's going on. So this person's never shown their face. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too wacky, but what do you
Like,
think?
this
Is
is
it
the-
reasonable?
I feel like this is the Chuck E. Cheese conspiracy all over again.
Oh, the reused pizza?
Yes, I think this is this level of conspiracy. We're not quite
I don't know.
Pizzagate level, but we're definitely Chuck E. Cheese territory right now.
But how would you ever prove that too? Like, let's assume that I'm correct for a second, and it is
Okay.
Papa John's or Pizza Hut trying to like hit the bottom line of Domino's by like hitting a certain segment of people and making them never want to have Domino's again in their life. Like, how could that ever be proven? You know, you have an anonymous TikTok account saying that they supposedly worked for Domino's, blah blah blah, uploading footage that is shown in a certain way.
Well, it depends
No.
on the context. I mean, the only thing you could do to prove it obviously be like a paper trail, like using an email that you or a phone number that links to somebody who is clearly of relationship to do it. But if you're hiring a company to do it or something, that'd be crazy too. So I feel like there's a possibility, obviously, this is some corporate espionage to boost Big Papa John. You think the question really is Shaquille O'Neal behind this for Papa John's, and does
Yeah.
this affect LeBron's
Actually,
legacy?
does it affect LeBron's legacy?
Yeah,
That was the question.
no, but like
that we're
honestly,
left
since it does involve Shaq and basketball as a whole, do you think the NBA is behind this? This is the real question.
with. Yeah, true.
I think it's a possibility.
I don't know.
I think you're onto
tend
something.
I tend to think that stuff that is posed like that with it's like obvious rage bait. It feels a little bit too like there's like real rage bait. There's like real stuff that's wrong, and then there's stuff that feels a little bit manufactured. And this was more on the manufactured thing.
So you want to know which one I think that I've seen that really like irked me in some kind of way of like this is clearly fake. When I was using TikTok when I first got onto it a couple months back or whatever it was, I thought there was this one like girl I would see a lot, and she would pose like she's in jail, but like her content like it's so well shot, and she's a live stream, and it's like, how would you be sitting in jail live streaming and no one would not like notice? There's no way no one's not snitching. You never see any other kind of activity. You see no other bunkmate. It's like, how is this girl in a private cell? Like,
have you seen jail talk?
But she's also thirst trapping.
True. So she's probably just
it looks
niche.
fake. It looks fake.
Yeah.
It looks like she's got a set where she
have you seen jail TikTok though?
Like actual in jail TikTok?
Yes. Like inmates like recording like TikTok dances and stuff with like they're obviously like shitty Android phones because of like the frame rate and the contrast and stuff on the dude. It's wild. And there's like probably thousands of accounts of people actually uploading TikToks, like trying to go viral and shit.
That's amazing.
From like county jail and stuff. Goofy. What a goofy world we live in.
Well, what's your favorite TikTok trend dance for your inmates to dance to? I'm gonna say So, the Doja Cat song.
I love Hit Them With the Blicky. Hit them with the stick. They go hit them with the blicky. Because it is you're scraping the bottom of the barrel for the kinds of individuals that are uploading that dance.
Yeah.
So you have like in the hood in Los Angeles, like 6 homeless people like choreographed for this. And then you have like, county jail, like 3 guys who obviously just got into a brawl and like have like patches on their faces and stuff doing the same thing. That one's goofy.
Here's something I don't love. Let's talk about this real quick here. The nature of content exploiting people, like obviously prank YouTubers, or something you could talk about. But like the bigger thing that I see is people being like, "Hey, I'll give you this like $20 if you listen to my music or whatever," right? And it's like someone who clearly doesn't really like. It's not a young person, right? It's like someone in like their 40s or 50s who's just like entertaining. There's a camera on them. They seem very stunned. They're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. They're just on the spot and they just respond just because they're non-confrontational or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like that's like the most cringy version of it, honestly.
I'm gonna one up you here.
Okay.
And this is a rabbit hole, so we may have to address this next week after we do some research.
Fair enough.
I feel like we had research to go on last week and I don't remember what it was, but there are a series of homeless TikTokers that how do I put this? They are like sensational because of how sad their life is, and you have a dedicated fan base that is like intent on harassing them in as many ways as possible. So one of them is, I can't remember either of their names. Fuck, I was hoping it would come to me. It's not David Sartorius. That's a little kid.
Is it Paul Danino?
It's not Paul Danino. It's like
it's
anything but
Poseidon?
hands. It's not Ice Poseidon. No, these are really mentally ill people that are like actually homeless, but they are like receiving money.
I'm not talking about
through
the
their
people
TikToks
themselves. That's crazy. That's the working the way. I'm talking about the people who are like harassing them.
No. These are just
that's
like
the like level of like culture where they're at. Is like these horrible level of harassments. And I've seen like, I don't know, I've been looking at LSF a lot more recently, and I see a lot of people just harassing people essentially.
It's
horrible.
as it gets more saturated, you have to be more sensational, and so
I hate that.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad the state of the world.
It's sad that people seek validation that much that like they want to put themselves through or put others through. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna come in next week I'm gonna come in next week and I'm gonna have a couple
All right.
for
Well,
us to talk about.
I'm going to have something for us to talk about right now, just to voice and talk about something that's happening that I have done the research on and I presented a bunch of numbers on. So I want to talk about it. Esport in America dying, esport in
True.
world growing, and I have
Okay.
evidence to show, or at least
Okay.
argue from. I'm not going to show it on screen, but I will point out where I got these things from. So the interest of this started when Trill, other member. Sorry, Charlie, I think you're right there, buddy. Stepped on my dog's face nearly there. Jesus. All right. So, LCSEV, who is a known Twitter, I wouldn't call them a verified user, because they do have the blue check mark, but Twitter blue is a joke. So more than half of the LCS teams, which are the League Championship Series, it's the North American region, League of Legends professional scene, are considering selling their spot. Something I also have heard to follow up on this idea was that most teams, other than the largest or most successful ones, looking at Cloud9, winning their most recent championship just this past Sunday, they're likely not looking to sell their spot. But a lot of teams probably permanently are always looking to sell their spot based upon the right valuation and the right offer, which is natural because if you receive $30 million, you're going to take the offer for the spot. Like that's just how that's like the valuation back when they first put their money in. If they get their money back, like they probably would take it. So something that is important to understand is that the time of year to address what kind of viewership we can really meaningfully look at is right now, the next like 2 months, and then at the end of the year, which is like October, November, when we get the analytics for it. Finals of spring and deciding who goes to the international tournaments, in this case the mid-season invitational, is a pretty big time for viewership, but we have had a lot of contradictory and not so exciting pieces of information to lead us in a good direction for North America. So
let's go.
Within the same week, we talked about last week, TSM possibly looking to exit the league, and then CLG definitely now confirmed no longer CLG. They are NRG. They have been bought out by that. NRG famously venture capital in by Shaquille O'Neal, A-Rod, other very famous. Yeah, there's like a lot of people with money in these esports orgs. I think, if I remember correctly, Drake might have money into an esports org, and it might be NRG. I don't remember. You get the idea, right? So
isn't Snoop Dogg isn't he already on another
he's on phase.
Phase. Yeah,
phase up. Phase up, bitch.
That's
anyways.
Goofy, dude.
So spring finals happens, Cloud9 wins the whole thing. Crazy something did happen the day before, because the way the finals weekend works is it's the second and third place teams currently play on Saturday to decide who plays on the finals on Sunday. And on game 4, there was a pretty crazy play that swung the advantage of the team that was the third seed, and it caused them to end up winning the whole series and have the momentum to then come back and win. They did lose 3-1 on Sunday, but the finals viewership came in and it peaked at 271,376 viewers, which is down from the spring of last year, 387,072 viewers.
Jesus.
However, the night before that was the finals of Korea. And Korea, as we've talked about, is the mecca of esport.
Yeah, true.
And LCK finals happened, which was T1 and Gen G. And it was quite a series to watch, quite hype. Gen G, I believe, ended up winning the tournament. And it became the most popular esports tournament in league history. Peak viewership was 1,463,312 from all concurrent sources.
An unfucking believable outcome that is.
So League of Legends is not dying, basically, is what I'm saying. However, it is dying in NA. And on top of all of this, Bjergsen, the GOAT,
true,
literally consider it's between him and Doublelift, who share an equal number of titles, and a lot of them are shared titles. They won together, including their most recent one in 2020. He announced his farewell. He's retiring and stepping away. He just came back from he took a break for a year and did coaching, and then he came back last year, and then he took another half a year. The controversy is Nadeshot, the owner of 100 Thieves, which is the team he was playing for, is a little upset because he gave them like an hour's notice. He was going to post this video and announce his farewell, and told his team through a message, not in person or anything like that. So there's a little bit of controversy about how he did it, but the whole thing was that he didn't want it to leak. A lot of people talked about, and I imagine that would have been a big issue because people have been talking about it for weeks already. Because anytime Bjergsen is either in or out, it's a big conversation about who fills the void and what happens where and etc. So on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to see that esport is not dying, but esport is dying in the West. There is something to be said about the distribution of League of Legends in the West and in schools, because there was a deal with a certain company that like fell through pretty hard and did not go well, and they had an exclusivity on that contract for distributing it within the high schools and allowing things to do things like that. And it didn't end well, basically. And that contract just lifted recently. So they're just now trying to start being able to do that. But like a lot of like high schools, if you started having programs where you have kids playing Valorant, Overwatch, things like that, and other esports. So I think we're at a critical state for League of Legends in North America, which means that it's probably going to. There's an issue. There's an issue with like the concept of losing waning interest in the West, especially for America, because American tax dollars, or especially American investment dollars for advertising, are like really important to the esports ecosystem globally as well.
Yeah.
So I do fear for the longevity of the esport itself, of League specifically, not for esports, but like the thing is too with American kids, like there's no other MOBA that's growing in North America. So MOBAs are not a super popular genre. And like, you know, if you interviewed like, I don't know, 100 kids, how many do you think are saying they're going home to play League of Legends that day? And there's
probably not.
There's Call of Duty, Valorant, Fortnite, CSGO,
Subway Surfers.
Subway. So yeah, dude. Okay. Yeah. So now on a less somber note, something I actually want to end the pod on. My new favorite concept of video is when like someone's talking about something deeply, like when you're like, you know, like you have this big prepared, you know, speech, and like, you know, I was talking about my presentation and I was like, I see that you were not you know, interested in my numbers presentation there. So it's like, give me 1 second, you know, and then I just pull this up and I hit you with this. This is hit you with this. All right. So so now I see I have your attention. Basically what I wanted to say was that the esports viewership ecosystem is not dying, and that I think the future is still video games, but I worry about the genre of MOBA that will exist within as a potential, you know. I don't know if the MOBA genre is going to be something that's going to keep the interest of kids, but I really wish it would. I really encourage it. Nice iPhone nerd.
I have no clue why I can't do the same thing as you. I was trying to synchronize it because you and I had the same idea.
I just pulled up a YouTube video of it. Audio listener, we just started playing a video of Subway Surfer.
We both held up gameplay.
Yeah, now it's working. Look at that. I turned my brightness down. It's even better. Holy shit. Yeah, so there you go. Now roughly a quarter of my screen is Subway Surfer, as you can see.
There we go.
This is amazing.
Now we're getting reflection.
We're doing great here.
This is good.
This is good content.
This is the way that we get content.
This
right
is
here.
All right. Well, that being said, goodbye, everybody. We'll see you later. Enjoy the Subway Surfer exit. Bye. Oh, wait, what number episode is it?
This is episode 57.
I think it's 58, actually.
Rats.
I'm
gonna get it one of these days.
Bye. Enjoy more Subway Surfer. Enjoy
Bye.
your ADD.